Hello everyone and welcome to the Overwatch League Seoul Dynasty versus Vancouver Titans. It's playoffs, week 2, day 1. I am Rook and I'm joined by Omnitoaster. Wait, no, so yeah, it is Omnitoaster. I was making sure I was right for a second there. And we have the first seed, Vancouver Titans, versus the 8th seed Seoul Dynasty here as we move on to Lijiang.
Yeah, Lijiang, a map where the meta's kind of settled onto as many shields as you can get down, as we see on both of these teams, having the Sigma, having the Orisa, having the Symmetra, so getting those shields down, playing around them is key, taking the brawl onto the point.
Indeed, I'm watching Haxel here on this Doomfist, quite a big player and very aggressive character. They are looking to move on in. The Rocket Fist does come out and they're looking to get aggressive, but just people flying around everywhere as the shields do come on up, and we're seeing that be the prevalent meta, as you say, and just constantly trying to knock up these players, get a lot of damage down, and able to find that first pick. It's going to be the one which decides to fight. If they can't actually get to it, as everyone is flying up in the air here. But Janu taken it down by that early coalescence. Such a key pick here, as we do see a couple of frags come through. Haxel starting to shot here, finds a double kill. Fitz is trying to get back in and contest him, but there's too many Vancouver Titans players still up, and they will close out that fight.
Yeah, without any early picks, this kind of comp can play a lot like the 3-3 that we used to see, just back and forth until someone gets an ult and then the fight really starts. Unfortunately there, just the coalescence wasn't quite enough to overcome Haxel's picks as the fight did kick off, got a bit more chaotic. That Doomfist really came to shine when there's a little more chaos. So we'll see how they can hold now. With all of these shields, it can be hard to push into.
Certainly can. They're looking to take an aggressive stance as they have moved a lot of their tanks up. The Rock, unfortunately, goes the wrong way. The Doomfist doesn't manage to land there. Unfortunately, he only takes out a little bit of health, but not really all too much. The wall will go up. They're trying to split them up, but that pick onto Orisa there by Siominsu will be so key, and it's going to force Seoul Dynasty back for another bit.
Yeah, the Reaper against the Mei is an interesting one here. The Reaper just so impressively high damage, especially against shields when you get really quite up close to them, and the Mei not quite finding the walls that they're looking for. So the Reaper pick looking slightly stronger here in this game so far.
It's setting up a lot of positions. Haxel trying to find the opportunity, but they were checking from around the wall. We do see Marvel moving forward aggressively. There's the knock-up. Voice will sing to him, but doesn't actually manage to find any picks. A lot of damage going here onto Janu, but will manage to survive. They take down Fleta with that Death Blossom. Unfortunately, only find one, but Siominsu will clean up with these dual shotguns, and that will be another fight win for the Vancouver Titans.
Yeah, and again, when you have this Doomfist and this Reaper, it's so much just about trying to find that first pick so you can really get aggressive and push that advantage. And it kind of comes in where the Doomfist comes in from the front, the Reaper teleports into the back line. If they find something, fine. If they don't, they reset and they just go again. There, they manage to find it using the ult, but that's definitely a trade you're happy with.
Haxel diving right on into the back line, doesn't quite find that pick, but does at least run interference as the snowstorm does come down from May, the blizzard, as TZ gets taken out. This is a big opportunity for Seoul Dynasty. They need to push this here. They unfortunately lose Marvel 1 in that back line. Fitz trying to make a play here on the overtime. Does actually get on to the point. They do tick it over, but at what cost? They're not looking great in this fight. Siominsu down is an important pick, but holding here is going to be still very difficult through this coalescence. They get coalescence of their own. They're going to continue on fighting. Janu can't find their way on. Marvel now on this wrecking ball, just playing interference. Won't even find the pile driver as the members of Vancouver Titans are trying to push their way in here.
Yeah, and with this Mei, again, they've gone on to the Reaper. It just gives a lot more backline pressure as they come back in.
They do indeed. They take down multiple members while the Fletter is working in the backline. Finds a lot of damage. Takes down TZ. That could be a key pick. That Orisa is such an important hero in this matchup. But unfortunately, Janu and Siominsu do a lot of cleaning them up themselves, feeling a little bit like the janitors. We see Toby, Honda, Lucio trying to contest. There won't be enough as the Death Blossom comes out, and they manage to hold it.
And yeah, like I was saying, I did like the swap onto the Reaper. You saw it help them out a little bit there. Just getting into that backline is so important. Without the pressure onto that, the rest of the DPS, like the Reaper from Titans, feel a lot more confident in moving forward and harassing the backline of the other team. The Mei can protect the backline a little bit, but when you're up front looking for the walls, looking for the freezes onto the tanks that is so important for you, it is a bit harder to get that pressure out that you need. So I do like the swap over onto the Reaper quite a lot from Flatter.
Yeah, Reaper abuses flanking and getting around those shields a lot harder than Mei. Obviously better when you actually have the shields up because, you know, the endothermic blaster does go through, but definitely a very interesting pick as we see Haxel move over onto this Pharah, and I'm excited to see that for sure.
It's a very different lineup coming up, much more dive-oriented, in fact, entirely with this Pharah and the Tizzy going over onto the Hammond, just trying to get in, get disruptive. Can be really nice on this map, as there are a lot more places to knock people off, especially on this early phase. Pharah can really get a lot of damage raining down as they come through this choke. Sigma Shield coming out nicely, though.
Yeah, really nice play so far from Haxel, raining death from above. Xiuminsu now on this Doomfist will find a couple of kills, but Toby manages to finish him off. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late, as we do see Haxel starting to just frag out now on this Pharah. They're struggling to actually take the point. There's a lot of contestations coming out, but they will finally tick it over here.
And this is a lot of the power that you see coming out from Vancouver all season. Their versatility. Haxel, he needs to go over onto this Pharah, and Xiuminsu, he goes onto the Doomfist instead and does just as good a job. Gets in, gets those 2 picks, opens the point up, and with those 2 picks down, there's really nothing that Soul could have done.
Indeed, it's very difficult, and that's why they're bringing out this McCree. They really want to deal with that Pharah of Haxel early on as they possibly can, and well, Flood is a pretty darn good shot, so they're going to give them that opportunity. They're going to move to the same entrance they were taking before. This time they're going to kind of wait a lot more, as they're starting to only push now. Definitely very aware of the possibility of a boop. If they get knocked off, that's an instant loss, as Fitz does get taken down by the rocket barrage, but Fletter does manage to deal a lot of damage to TZ and Haxel, eventually managing to take him out. It's going to be Marvel now on the point, just dealing with this Mercy, and that is a fantastic play from Soul Dynasty to take control of the point.
Yeah, they were really patient. They understood that they have this McCree, so they have that little bit of CC now, which is nice against the dive. As soon as Tizzy came in, the flashbang was onto him, and they just burst him down, and without that tank, it can be pretty hard to get enough disruption in the fight for your DPS to do enough, especially when one of them is a Pharah, and they're trying to find the ult. You need that kind of panic in the other team to really capitalize on it if they know that they're coming into it. So without Tizzy, it was hard to generate that.
It is Soul Dynasty, a very composed team, full of a lot of veterans, and Fletter very composed even when he has a Doomfist on him. Xiuminsu will go down. Really nice play there from Soul Dynasty, and with this pick they should be able to lock up this point for another period of time. Really nice play from them.
Yeah, a lot of that just came down to Fletter and his hit scan, just taking out targets left, right, and center. The support there on him, though, they're playing really well around him. As soon as he got uppercutted, the rest of the team came back to make sure that they took out Xiuminsu before anything else could happen to Fletter. So they need to keep playing around this, and they need to try and get Fletter down if they're on the side of Vancouver.
Yeah, now Vancouver has completely switched up their team comp. They're moving over to that high shield composition. They are going to rock on in. Fitz is looking for that flank yet again. They do have his ultimate looking for that. As we see Marvel do a lot of work here. Not quite able to finish them off, but does find a lot of damage. So Fitz in that backline, finding 2. This is the perfect opportunity. And Soul Dynasty dominating that fight.
Yeah, really nicely done. They did have the shields, but just got them up over it with that that flux, which is all they really needed, especially when they have the hit scan of the McCree, because it can be very hard for them to get the damage through, obviously through the shields. As you see here as well, Fitz managing to get around into the backline and cancel that coalescence, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah, fantastic play from Fitz on this Doomfist. Has been playing very well. Was overshadowed in the first game by Haxel, but here doing a fantastic job as they're just destroying the Vancouver offense here, trying to get on in, but Yu Jihong with that coalescence and all of the other damage going into will manage to do it. Fletter barely surviving, does finally go down to Xiuminsu, but it won't be enough, I presume, as Fitz is going to be coming back now. There are very few members of Vancouver Titans actually near and on the point. And Marvel doing such a great job so far on this pick, doing fantastic amount of damage, does have a lot of ability to do so, and even Haxel on this Reaper is unable to bring enough, as Soul Dynasty do close out round 2.
Yeah, I mean, that last fight as well just showed how important it was for Fitz to get the coalescence cancel. Jae-Hong doing so much damage, so much healing. It's such an instrumental ult, and one that you build so quickly that you always know it's something it's in the back of your mind. They probably have it. You're going to have to play around it. And Fitz knew that perfectly, went round and cancelled it, and we saw just how impactful it would have been if he hadn't managed to do that.
Yeah, the Soul Dynasty DPSs are definitely playing on Flake right now. Fletter and Fitz bringing a lot of damage out, really playing very well, even on some of these more off-meta picks with the hit scan players. I've been really liking it, and they've been able to separate a lot of the Vancouver players.
Fitz going for Symmetra, get his team in nice and quickly. Siominsu doing the same, so they're going to be up pretty high. It's a pretty common strat on this map now.
Yeah, pretty sensible as well. Quicker you can get there, quicker you can fight. So we do see the teams starting to brawl around the point. Though, Seoul Dynasty have taken high ground and forced Vancouver Titans to just play on that point. They lose Fitz early on, though. Fleta trying to get that freeze, has to use Ice Block, is too far forward, and Haxel finds Toby yet again, and the DPS duo of Vancouver Titans rip through Seoul Dynasty, and a one fight from them.
Yeah, again, this comes down to they're winning the fights when they're putting this Reaper into this Mei. Just because he can get into the backline, cause way more havoc, or it's just a good hero against the Mei. You can get out of the freeze, and you do so much damage when you're up close that after they come out of Ice Block, they just die. So I really think the Mei into the Haxel Enya, they see it, and Fleta makes the swap.
Do take well. Nice play. On the whole, they are spreading out quite a bit. They have the Coalescence for Twilight about to come up. They are going to try and pop that as the fight does come on in the Fade. Will try and keep Janu alive, but doesn't quite do it. Haxel will at least trade 1-for-1. Now with this Coalescence, they should be able to hold out for a strong period of time. Twilight doesn't quite go down, but they at least take down Michelle in response. Haxel looking for this play, going to get that slam and jam. Isn't actually able to find anyone. Just uses kind of retreat and get back to that point.
Yeah, Fitz was playing really nicely around the shield, not only for the actual 1v1 that he was having on point, but it makes that Doomfist so hard. It makes it so hard for that Doomfist to actually find what they want with the ult, because obviously if you're on the other side of the shield, no damage. So just strafing between it made it pretty much impossible for Haxel to find anything with it.
TC with a supercharger, looking for an opportunity here, but Janu's going to be one to try and lead for that pick with their own ultimate, really looking for the opportunity. There it is. They're going to pull them up. They don't manage to take many down, as unfortunately the rest of their backline gets blown up in the midst of it. And that was a really nice setup from Seoul Dynasty, countering the ultimate from Janu and just, well, forcing them to waste it.
Yeah, the sound barrier came out just in time as well, which is always something that you're looking for as that Sigma, because it does negate a lot of the power of your ult, obviously. And if you can get it before, then that Lucio is pretty much screwed. There's no way they're getting it off, but Toby doing very well to get there.
Indeed they are. Fitz looking for this dive here, trying to get onto me. Reason doesn't quite find the kill. He's a very tanky member, so needs to be very careful. Unfortunately, does get taken down in response. And now Vancouver Titan have a great opportunity. They are on top of this backline with Siominsu. Does have this Death Blossom and is completely zoning the healers. It's only Toby left on the point. They get up to 30%, but Vancouver Titans take back control.
Yeah, they just came in, they had the ultimate advantage, and they managed to keep it as well. Lijiang Hong's coming in with his, but Slimes and Siominsu are probably going to be enough to counteract that. The healing from Coalescence is high, but it's not Death Blossom high. So if Siominsu can find a good one here, then that's just going to be map.
Indeed it will. And he's stuck right behind them. Stops the Coalescence. Absolutely huge. Gets two. And that is almost certainly a one fight for Vancouver Titans. There's nothing you can do if you're Seoul Dynasty here. You can only play for time. And they don't have much of that left. And Vancouver Titans win map 1, 2-1. And a solid victory on that second map.
Yeah, I do believe that Death Blossom was what we call a good one. Just waiting for the target, waiting around the corner. As soon as that Coalescence was popped, got it out. Made sure no fading away from the Moira. Ult cancelled. And they've done really well all map at cancelling that Coalescence, which is such a big one because it's one that you often go into fights being like, okay, we have the Coalescence. This is a fight that we can take. And if you cancel it, you can't take it anymore.
Yeah, it certainly is true. That's what we saw Vancouver focusing on, dealing with the ultimates from Seoul Dynasty, trying to get through a lot of that damage mitigation, and it was their key targets. But actually key targeting, that helped them really win out on that first map. So fantastic from them there on Lijiang. And I don't know where we're heading next, but we can take a short break.